ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And we're going to be talking about the Hunter Biden being guilty. Now, guys, you're probably not going to like me. I'm probably going to have dislikes on my actual channel for this one, but that's okay. And I think this will have to be a bit understood. Now, don't get me wrong. I despise and hate Hunter Biden for many, many things. One of them, doing illegal dealings across the U.S. and practically committing treason. But this is a bit different because the thing is that he hasn't really violated necessarily the gun laws that they're bringing up. Now, I would understand if they brought up laws or actual crime that he committed, for doing illegal dealings overseas, doing dealings, having, drugs and stuff like that that's been proven, and, all this other stuff, yeah, that is understandable. And if they happen to arrest him or find him with guns while under the influence of all that stuff, then, okay, sure, we can go and do that, right? But to label or put a gun charge on somebody that is, that didn't really, I guess you could say, had a gun while he was under the influence of cocaine or anything of the sort is a bit insane. So what we're going to go have here is the big news that we have Hunter Biden guilty in criminal gun trial. A jury convicted Hunter Biden, son of President Joe Biden, of all 3 criminal counts at his gun trial in Delaware. Biden was charged with crimes related to the purchase and possession of a handgun while being a user and addict of illegal drugs. Now, here's the thing I want people to understand here. It says here to be user of illegal a user and addict of illegal drugs, right? That's pretty much what it's saying, right? Well, he could be a user and addict of legal drugs, right? But he has to be under the influence of it as well. I mean, I don't think you can actually just arrest somebody just because they have put a gun charge on it. He would have to be using a gun or having something on while he's under the influence. It says the jury convicted Hunter Biden, son of President Joe Biden, of all 3 counts at his criminal gun trial in Delaware federal court on Tuesday morning. Hunter Biden, 54, was found guilty of making a false statement in connection with the sale of a firearm, a false statement in firearms transaction, and possessing a firearm while being a drug user or drug addict. The felony charges relate to his purchase of a Colt Cobra handgun from a Delaware gun store in October 2018 while being a user and addict of crack cocaine. Biden, who was admitted being a cocaine and alcohol addict, was accused of lying on a federally mandated form he filled out in connection with that sale, where he said he was not unlawful user or addict of a narcotic drug. Okay, so he could go out and say he's lying, right? But here's one thing I want people to start understanding here. And we'll see, it's a Hunter Biden trial recap. Joe Biden's son guilty on all charges in a historic gun case. And we'll be going over this too, but what I want you guys to understand, this is the one of the firearms thing for this stuff, right? For the 4437, I may believe. I could be wrong about this. 4473 firearms talk, and this is for, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosive. And it pretty much goes and says here, I can't like this with purple, I tried. It says, the information you provide will be used to determine whether you are prohibited by federal or state law from receiving a firearm or whether federal or state law prohibits the sale or deposition of a firearm to you. Certain violations of the Gun Control Act, 18 U.S.C., are punishable up to 15 years imprisonment and or up to $250,000 fine. Any person who exploits a firearm without proper authorization from either the Department of Commerce or Department of State as applicable is subject to fine of not more than $1 million and up to 20 years in prison. So I think the big thing we have to tell you guys here is that the information you provide will be used to determine whether you are prohibited by federal or state law from receiving a firearm. Now, prior to this gun charge that he's had, right? Prior to the gun charge that he's had, is that he was not prohibited by federal or state law from receiving a firearm because, he was neither arrested by state or by federal to not have a firearm. So if he wrote this out and he said all this stuff here, then obviously he is not going to be guilty of such thing because he wasn't actually prohibited by federal or state law from receiving a firearm. So there's that. Now he would be, but at the current point in time he is not. So That's just the way it is. That's the hard truth, guys. You guys may not like it, but that's just the reality. And that's the reason why I don't think the gun charge necessary is wrong. I'm not saying the other charges that he's being put upon is incorrect. I'm saying that specifically the gun charge is wrong. Everything else seems to be solid and things that he actually did. This is not a fallacy. But it says, we go on here and say that the verdict came nearly 3 weeks after former President Donald Trump, who was set to face President Biden in November's election, was convicted in a New York State court of falsifying business records related to a 2016 hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, etc., etc. So, that's what's going on here, right? And we have more, obviously. We have a federal jury convicted Hunter Biden of federal gun charges, a historic first for the offspring of a sitting president, etc., etc. And it goes on today. I look back at USA Today's Hunter Biden fact checks, which, could be held with a grain of salt, but I digress. Because Hunter Biden has long been a subject of misinformation online, with social media users speculating about his drug use, financial dealings, and federal indictments. Now, his drug use and financial dealings and federal indictments, specifically his drug use and federal dealings, are all true. This has all been proven true. This is not a fallacy here. But obviously the federal indictments are true as well. For miscatching videos to false claims about his conviction, viral claims have repeatedly represented the president's son and his relationship with the law. In the wake of Biden's conviction on federal gun charges, the USA Today fact-check team recapped some of the false and misleading claims that have gone spread most widely and what's actually true. See, this is the reason why I don't like using this, because they're saying his drug use and financial dealings is misinformation or what have you. Or they're saying what really happened, and we all know that the drug use and financial dealings are all true. This is not up for debate here. He's been doing this type of stuff, and it says what kind of hunter did he get by and all that stuff, and we have this too. CNN analyst tells Chris Wallace Biden will pardon Hunter no matter what he says now. So yeah, I think that Joe Biden, if he's not a piece of garbage, if he's not a terrible father, which he seems to already be anyways, he would probably pardon Joe Biden. And let me put this into perspective here, guys. If I was a president and I seen this, unfortunately I would have to say, yes, he did all these things, but the problem here lies is that you guys were putting Hunter Biden on false gun charges when you should have went after, other charges that is actually true, that's actually correct. So that's the problem that I have here with this. Now, we have Hunter Biden jurors sound off on why calling his daughter to the stand was a critical mistake. Two of the jurors who convicted first son Hunter Biden on federal gun charges Tuesday told the Post they were particularly affected by his eldest daughter's Naomi's testimony, with one panelist saying the defense team made a mistake calling her as a witness. Naomi Biden, 30, recounted her father's erratic behavior in the days after he allegedly illegally lied about his crack cocaine addiction to purchase a .38 caliber revolver on October 12, 2018. Yeah, but again, even though he lied about it, by the by the 4373 firearms transaction record, you have to be prohibited by federal or state law from receiving a firearm. As far as I know, guys, he was not actually convicted of this, right? He wasn't convicted of not being able to have a firearm. So that's the problem that I have here, is that he wasn't convicted of it. So technically, in theory, he's not actually wrong. Again, this is something that is just ongoing here. And of course, you jurors were shown texts between Hunter and Haley that referred to his drug use. And of course, for this one, Rich Barris, the postponed it, yes, as I understand it, the big guy can pardon the bad boy. But holy S, folks, he sacrificed his own son for political optics. Dirty. How would that conversation go? Son, you've been in a lot of trouble for dad over the years. Now you got to take this one for dad. Yeah, I think that would be really difficult for that wouldn't look good for Joe at all, by any stretch of the imagine, right? This would not be good for Joe at all. And what I'm seeing here, guys, is that it's kind of insane, honestly, that this is the reality that is going on with this case. Now, again, I don't like Joe Biden or what you call it, or what you have it, Hunter Biden. I think they're all both terrible people. I even said I can reasonably say that I dislike Hunter Biden, like illegal deals overseas. However, if we're talking a gun charge without him prior being arrested with a gun in hand, then this is a problem. I can also understand that the Democrats do the same to us. And this is the reality that I want people to kind of see here, is that I see it, guys. I see it where the Democrats have done the same thing to us. That the Democrats have done the same thing to us. They have done the same thing to Donald Trump and every other Republican. So I can see where we can be tied here. It's not. A moral stance would be, okay, we have to put this guy in jail for the crimes that he actually committed, not for a bad charge. But unlike if we go outside of that, we can't be dragging our balls on things to where we can't be doing this, right? Where we had to be playing nice, and I can see there's difficulties in that. And I can understand people's both point of view. I just don't think the gun charge is correct. I think every other charge is correct for the most part. Like, that's just the way I see it here. Like I said, if we're going to do things correct, we need to do things the right way, I guess. But, again, this is the crazy part about this whole situation. But yeah, but there's more, because he has something a bit of a bigger deal, guys, where it comes down to, he's going to be for evading taxes in California, right? That's something that's coming up, I may believe, in September. So that's not looking good either. That's not looking good either. So it's not looking good. So even if he gets past this, he has the September thing that he has to deal with, and all that great stuff where the California taxes. So again, it's not good. But I'm telling you guys right now, the gun charge seems pretty stupid, and it does hurt the First Amendment by a great deal. So not the First Amendment, but the Second Amendment. So I think we have to start thinking on what the correct way is. So, guys, that's it for the video. Subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted, 'cause it's algorithmic disease, the social media.